Why Greece's economy will never recover. Why do you wonder if Greece's economy will ever recover? Are you making the mistake of conflating their high debt with their GDP growth? Last year, Greece's economy grew faster than that of the United Kingdom, Germany, or the Eurozone as a whole. Are you aware of this, or are you simply dancing on the grave of a country that you despise? Well, hold your horses, don't believe this completely. Greece's economy has been very poor, and to know why it happened, let's start the video. Greece reneged on its debt in 2015. Some claimed that Greece simply went into arrears. However, it failed to make a €1.6 billion payment to the IMF, making it the first developed country to do so. Spring has already arrived in Greece. Even in the darkest of times, nature's renaissance makes hope unstoppable. But this one is proving to be a cruel spring for a people mired in a decade-long crisis that has resulted in one ritual humiliation after another. For good reason, the paradox is a Greek word. Today's Greece demonstrates that it is entirely possible for the state and the majority of citizens to be sinking deeper into insolvency, while the oligarchy profits handsomely from trading in their assets. But why would investors lend cheaply to the Greek government if it is still bankrupt? The reason for this is that Greece's creditors, the EU, the European Central Bank, and the IMF, have removed 85% of the country's government debt from the money markets and placed it squarely on the shoulders of European taxpayers. They also postponed all repayments until after 2032 and extended another €30 billion, £26 billion in official loans to the Greek government to cover privateer repayments. So why not lend to the Greek government at a small but positive interest rate when the alternative is to lend to the German or Dutch governments at negative interest rates? Lending to Greece's insolvent state at minuscule rates is profitable as long as the Greek government remains the Troika's model prisoner. Problem solved. With the exception of the top 0.1%, all social classes were in dire straits during the first phase of Greece's crisis. However, three social groups fared differently beginning in 2018. By far the largest group remains in debtor's prison and sinks deeper into despair. A middle group has reached rock bottom, living in drastically reduced but more stable circumstances. Finally, a small group is doing exceptionally well, buoyed by fire sales of public assets, linked to hedge funds, profiting from trades and loans, and linked to EU-sourced funding. Kyriakos Mitsotakis' new government in Greece is an intriguing coalition of figures from this New Democracy Party. One faction, close to the Prime Minister's circle, represents the interests of the neoliberally inclined oligarchies, determined to maintain the Troika's austerity and fire sales policies, from which they have benefited so magnificently. The local branch of the Nationalist International has a second, ultra-rightist, completely xenophobic nationalist faction. This fragile coalition of neoliberals and racist conservatives is held together by a mix of free marketeer solutions that benefit the oligarchy, a domestic authoritarian, and Trumpian approach to migrants. The Nazi Golden Dawn Party was mercifully expelled from parliament, but its racist narrative is now in power. When the narrative of economic recovery is exposed as a cruel lie, this government will exploit the little people's concerns about migration to keep those calm, while for a good measure, deploying the authoritarian apparatus that is currently being built to liquidate their few remaining assets. Recently, a visit to the Greek-Turkish border by a Greek Prime Minister, who, like his predecessors, had previously surrendered fully to Chancellor Angela Merkel, was accompanied by Ursula von der Leyen, who was promoted by Merkel as the European Commissioner's new president, but who would not have been elected without Orban's support in the European Parliament. What were they up to? They were defending Orban's policy of infringing on refugees' rights to enter one's territory, to seek asylum under international law. In essence, they were putting an end to Merkel's plan to keep the xenophobic hard right at bay. Furthermore, they were unwittingly demonstrating that Greece remains the canary in the coal mine.